Hello everyone, Sarah from here. I'm briefly going to go over the cannons that are used in CityCraft and explain their mechanics. Very quickly, to build an iron cannon, which is a standard cannon, you want iron blocks, a stick, one lever, 2 buttons, iron ingot, which is going to be our ammunition. This represents the cannonball, gunpowder, and a clock for aiming. So, to build it, you just need to have these 2 iron blocks, your buttons, and then you need a torch. And boom, you're done. You've created the iron cannon. Now, if you wanted to manually load the iron cannon, you would need to first clean the cannon. Every time you build a cannon or a mortar, it needs to be cleaned. And then you can put in the gunpowder, put in your projectile, press twice to load it, and you can fire it. And you would fire it by clicking on the torch, but I want to aim it first. So to aim it, you right click with the clock, you hold shift, and you point to where you want to aim, and the glowstone will act as the reticle. The minute you unshift and right click, it will leave aim mode. And then hit the torch, and it fires. The cannonball is mostly used for structural damage, and it is used to breach the walls. Now, handling this all by hand is kind of annoying, and you can automate the process. To automate the process, you can have a chest with your gunpowder and your iron ingot or your ammo of choice. You have a redstone signal directly going to the button, and you can have this lever. So after you've cleaned out the cannon, right click and you heard that little sound. I'll turn my sound up a bit. You heard that sound. And then fire. So I will aim up a little bit, and I'll go over that one more time. First lever loads it, you wait a little bit, and then fire. So if you were to do this in survival mode, sometimes it will glitch out, it will give you like that error sound, but just be persistent with it. The cannons are a little finicky, just keep pulling that lever, and we'll fire. Being in close proximity to a firing cannon will give you nausea. When you get hit with some status effects, such as nausea, as well as you take direct damage. Now, to step this up a little bit, you can get fancy with the redstone and automate it even further. So this is a comparator, this is a clock. When pressed, we'll keep sending a signal. So all we need to do is get our ammunition from the other chest. Aim it with the clock, holding shift and looking to the target. It's a bit finicky. Oh, I need to clean up the cannon. So as you can tell, you need to have a little bit of experience with the cannons and be used to working with them to make for a good siege engineer. And you can even connect up multiple cannons with the redstone, as I showed in my City Siege video. So you don't just have the iron ingot, you also have, which is cannonball, you also have different ammunition types, which I will be going over. So I'll go grab the gunpowder real quick. The iron nugget is the pea shooter. It is essentially a machine gun, and it will shoot multiple yet weak projectiles. It will shoot multiple but weak projectiles. If you were going up against an unarmored opponent, they would probably take some considerable damage. If the opponent was armored, the pea shooter might not do a lot, unless there were multiple cannons converged on a single location. So we loaded it. And it will fire multiple projectiles in one location. Of course, firing multiple projectiles adds considerable soot to the cannon. So I'll get a stick real quick. As you can tell, it will not fire until I clean it up again. So that's the pea shooter. You also have scatter shot or canister shot, which is essentially a shotgun. And it will fire multiple projectiles all at once, and it will spread out a little bit. This is considerably more powerful, obviously, because you have more projectiles. So that really is going to hurt if you aren't well armored and you're on the other side of that. The next projectiles are a little bit fancy. They're more for fun than anything else. You have the obby bomb. Let's see. Where does this aim? Let's push it up a little bit. Basically, you will use obsidian as ammunition. And once the projectile hits the target, it will spawn a number of obsidian pieces. This is mostly used as a griefing tool. If you wanted to annoy your opponent, you could just start firing obsidian into their city as a way of sending sort of a warning message. And then you have sand, which is mostly used to cut through water walls as a part of standard factions. The water walls, if you want to cut through those, you could use the sand and start firing sand. So on hitting a target, it will start to spawn sand. The last projectile is a fire charge. Alright. So I've made a cannon here and I've aimed it here, so let's watch. Oh, I need to clean it up. Sometimes you'll have some issues with the redstone. Usually the solution is just to draw it back a little bit. There we go, now it's working. So the way the fire charge works is on hitting the target will do a little bit of damage, and it will basically just spawn fire. Alright everybody, that is all for these cannons. Now we will move on to the last one, which is the Vault Destroyer, or the Vault Drill. Let's clear out my inventory. So to build a vault drill is a little bit more complicated. You want to build one block up because you want to be one off the ground. You want to build this little radius here. You want to place a button on each side. Place a torch, and you have a vault drill. Okay, so for the vault drill, you need to manually load it. You need to manually add gunpowder and manually clean after firing. Projectile, push in, and fire. You need to keep in mind that your aiming is from the torch, so just be cognizant of that. And when you fire, it will create a 1 block radius of damage. And this is the only way you can break obsidian on the server, and it's a more expensive drill that's a bit harder to pull off. Alright, that's everything for today, everybody. Thank you for keeping up with me. I know these devlogs are quite a bit. They add a lot of concepts, new concepts, and it can be a bit confusing, and I appreciate your patience.